What's going on, Sumolings? Welcome to another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and I am joined by the team over at Notetracks Pro. Notetracks Pro is an audio collaboration platform where you can get real-time feedback pinpointed directly on the track itself. It is awesome for anybody who is working with audio, and it is available right now on AppSumo starting at just $39 for a lifetime deal. Before we dive into the walkthrough and tell you what everything's all about, I just want to tell you a few quick things. If you want to tell us about yourself, about your business, about why you're interested in this tool, go ahead and do that in the Q&A box, or I'm sorry, in the chat room over to the right. And then if you have any questions about the tool or the deal, how to get set up, anything like that, leave those in the Q&A box down below the video. We are going to circle back to all of your questions after we do the walkthrough. And then the last thing is that there will be a replay of this available. So if you need to step out or feel like you need to take notes, you don't, you're all good. All right, that's it. Cam, how are you doing today?
Cool, not too bad, not too bad. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
I am excited to have you here, and I know that you have a lot to share with us today. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take it from here. Let me know when you're ready for those questions.
Perfect, awesome. Well, once again, I'm Cam. I'm the founder of the company, CEO of Notetracks. We have just launched exclusively with AppSumo our new Notetracks Pro web / desktop platform. I think it'd be cool to give you a little bit of insight on how this all came about, what inspired the platform. Kind of comes from my background of two passions, music and technology. I started off as an early childhood musician, playing the piano. In my teenage years, got into DJing, and from DJing, if you're DJing and you got some talents, you want to make the hit instead of play the hit. So I got into music production. Started working with a lot of software, audio production tools, and came to a point where I also wanted to understand how the software was built. So I did a major in computer science and tech, also did a minor in music. And in one of the music classrooms is pretty much where the idea of the platform got inspired by. So we were doing an exercise called ear training, listening to songs, and we were writing down notes referencing what was going on in the tracks. Writing stuff like 30 seconds, bass frequencies, 40 kilohertz, 45 seconds, chord progression change. And I go, it'd be neat to have this in one of my music production tools where instead of having a recording track, I had a note-taking track. So I really wanted to be able to write a paragraph underneath the waveform. It didn't exist at the time. I would actually print screen my audio production tools, and start writing down on the actual paper. But yeah, after graduating, spent time working in tech, and came to a point where I wanted to have this tool for myself because I saw a need in terms of the analysis of music, but at the same time, when I was also continuing to do music production, also needed a tool to be able to review and collaborate and take notes with regards to audio. So came to a point where I said, hey, I'm going to build this expensive piece of gear for myself, and worst case scenario, I'll have it so I could use. But we released an iOS app that was a first version. We put it out in the App Store. It started not only getting used for analysis, but also reviewing and collaboration. So bands, music folks were sending project files to each other to be able to comment, share. And our main point of feedback was to get this on the web / desktop platform. So we built it. We've got some amazing partners and supporters that have helped us build this product. We've refined it in a private beta, and we've launched it pretty much exclusively to the AppSumo platform. So really stoked to be going through an intense. It's been 1 week. We went live last week, Thursday, and it's been an incredible week of customers coming in, new community members. So incredible conversations, questions. The shout out to the entire AppSumo staff. that put this deal together, and they're an amazing community because it's been some incredible feedback and very exciting times. So happy to be here to answer your questions. I already see that we've got some mixing engineers, some folks from the audio world. The use cases really span. It's kind of like we kind of pitch this as a Google Docs for audio. And again, if you think about how a Google Docs or a Microsoft Word document is used, it could be multiple ways. You could use it for analysis, you could use it for collaborating, you could use it for scripting, writing, writing a book, writing writing documentation for software, etc. So already through the AppSumo community, there's been multiple use cases, whether it's a podcast, or I think podcasting is one of the major ones, voiceover, another major one. Obviously, it was built from a music production background. So, audio engineering, mixing, mastering, music production is there, but we've got use cases in the education side of things too. So coaching, anything to do with reviewing, commenting, documenting, audio and video. So if any folks, would like to, also populate, what they do specifically. If you're a podcaster, voiceover artist, music producer, go ahead, write in the comments, and at the same time, give us some insights on your use case. I'd be happy to, demo how it works with regards to the use case, or ask any questions or answer any questions. Lindsay, any thoughts on things so far, or we're good to go?
Things are good so far. Yeah, Sumolings, if you want to ask any questions, put those in the Q&A box, but we're definitely happy to show you how to work with your use case if you let us know in the chat room. Yeah, if you want to take us on a walkthrough.
Perfect, cool. So let me share my screen over here. I'm going to share computer sound so you guys will get the sound in. Perfect. Yeah, just on some housekeeping type of stuff. If those of you are not familiar with the deal page, I'm sure you already are, because that's pretty much how you got here. This is the deal page. There's tons of questions and the question section, and tons of details here as well. So if there's any questions that you have, you could pop them in the question section. We're pretty responsive on the responses. But a couple of other links that I want to kind of show you guys is our public roadmap. So there is a link in the deal page that talks about our public roadmap. So if there are any feature suggestions that you have, you could go ahead and populate them here. There's already a bunch of comments going back and forth. And what generally happens is that after folks, whether they're on the deal page or whether they come in here, once they have any questions, we usually populate them over here. So you can see there's just a bunch of, Sumo suggestions, which are awesome. And then folks who basically come to the board are able to upvote. So it helps us with regards to product development to be able to, see, who likes which features the most. But essentially you could start conversations over here, and basically, you'll see that we're pretty much active, with regards to going back and forth. You do need a Trello account, so you'd have to create one if you don't already have one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So this is a pretty exciting page to view that's off the deal page. And then yeah, I'll basically open up. I'm sure folks have also seen the support page. If there's any questions that you're having, any issues, there's FAQ and support here. The quick address is support.notetracks.com. You could submit a request, etc. But so far, the majority of folks that have any quick questions, and again, if you'd like the most fastest response time, Intercom is the platform that we use with regards to customer support chats. It's right over here. It's pretty simple to use. So yeah, once you've logged into the platform, you basically come to this create project page, but anywhere you go in the application, even on our landing page, if you go to notetracks.com, there's a little chat box over here where you could engage in further conversations and questions with the team. yeah, should you have any questions. So I would say this is kind of the fastest way to get the support. If you're looking for, further information, you could come to our Zendesk, our FAQ section, which is support.notetracks.com. It's in the deal page link. And if you, have any, suggestions, if you're inquiring about, okay, what's coming next, or, are you guys working on this feature, or this would be an awesome idea, then feel free to engage with us here, or even populate yourself a card, so we could upvote it and add it to the board. So yeah, that's pretty much the housekeeping stuff. This is so once you basically sign up, you create the sign up process. Pretty simple for those of you who haven't done it before. You get an AppSumo link, and basically enter in your email, validate your email, and then log into the platform. And once you log into the platform, this is the first page that you'll see. It'll perhaps be blank for any new customer. This is one of our demo accounts, so there's already some pre-populated stuff that we've been working on over here. But yeah, I mean, unless there's any specific, are there any folks asking for any specific use cases? If I don't see any yet, I'll probably. Oh, okay, here we go. So I'd love to see a walkthrough of creating a project, adding a file, and commenting. Okay, great. Well, I mean, that in itself could be used for multiple different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and do an interesting one, a voiceover. This is voiceover Rob Actis, and this is Notetracks promo. So we had a new AppSumo customer come in, and he is a voiceover actor. And he basically did a sample of doing an audio ad for us, which was awesome, because he was able to kind of send me the MP3 file in the chat. So in intercom, he goes, hey, if you guys are thinking about, and shout out to Rob Actis, who's an amazing voiceover actor. You could check out his site. We'll probably put the details in description. But he basically did a sample for voiceover ad for us. Which we need to do. So again, as for use cases, you could be either a creator, which is kind of like an audio producer, music producer, video creative. That's the creator. That's on the creator side of things, who's actually producing stuff. But you could be what I like to call collaborator / client, whereas you're the company. So if you're a company today, you're most likely producing content for marketing, whether it be videos, whether it be if you're getting into podcasts, you're definitely you're definitely creating audio pieces, components, and in our case, we would like to get into, since we're an audio centric company, we'd like to get into audio ads. So we had this small conversation, and Rob was able to put together this awesome snippet as a sample. But the thing was, it was sent in an intercom chat. So as soon as I clicked on the intercom chat, it was an unsupported file, and again, it's not the best solution to be able to give him feedback on the amazing work that he did. At the same time, the regular use case is that somebody sends you an email and says, hey, here's this MP3 file attached, type of thing. And then, there's no attachment, or the attachment doesn't work. And then again, the issue is the feedback. So you get into this chain of like, can you send me this file again? Or the 0.30 seconds, you have to open up an audio player or kind of pay attention to the time. So this is pretty much one of the main reasons we built this platform for and aim to solve. So I basically that might have happened a bit quick, but I basically clicked on add new track. So as soon as I created a new project, I came into an empty project page. And then what I did is I clicked on add track and select file, and I picked the track over there. There's multiple ways you could get the audio in. That was probably one of the longer ways. The quickest way that I like to do is just go from my Finder and then grab this and drag and drop it right into, I don't even have to click add track. I just drag and drop it right into the page type of thing. So yeah, you could drag and drop the audio right into the project page. You could click on add track and you could select a file, and that'll open up your Finder. You could also, again, if you have your Finder open and you want to drag it into this little rectangle while you're here, you could do that as well too. And then we've got some awesome integrations with regards to Dropbox or Google Drive. So folks, again, might have content on their Dropbox or might have been shared content on the Dropbox. So you could go ahead and basically click and to connect your Dropbox or your Google Drive to be able to import files. One important note that I might have went quickly over, when I created a new project, I selected audio projects. So we have two types of projects you could create, and they're kind of treated differently, with regards to the technical side of things on the platform. But we have audio projects and we have video projects. So if you're working with audio, you select an audio project. However, if you are working with, collaborating on a video for feedback and approval, you select a video project and you'll be able to import video, which will extract the audio. So you'll have the audio there as well as the video on top. I'll show you guys that in a quick moment. But okay, so we got the audio in, and here's a zoom control that allows you to basically, see the entire waveform. This is a 30-second spot, so it's pretty. There's not too much there to see. At the same time, in terms of visual content, there's not much there because it's a bit low in volume. So, I mean, my first comment with regards to this would be, whoops, hitting the shortcut key for Zoom. I'd be like, hey, Rob, looks like the volume is a bit low. Do you have a louder version? Okay. So that's pretty much how you add a comment. You could basically add a comment by double clicking this waveform. So I'm double clicking this, and then it comes in precisely at the time. You could go ahead and delete it over here. And again, multiple ways to insert comments. You could also click on the new comment button, which will drop the marker and the comment exactly at the point that you're listening to. So you don't have to, you could be listening to the track and without interrupting it, without interrupting the playback, be able to drop comments in. Let's go ahead and do that. So one of the cooler aspects of Notetracks is the shortcuts. So there's a bunch of shortcuts that could be pulled up by pressing Shift ? So you got shortcuts for playing and pause, which is the space bar. If you're used to audio production tools, that's pretty much a standard. You've got some shortcuts for resetting the zoom, of fast forwarding, of putting the volume up and down, muting, and of course dropping markers. And one of the interesting parts about the markers is that once they're dropped and you have a shortcut key, then you're able to basically go back to it at a click of a button. So I just dropped the shortcut at one shortcut, and if I do Shift 1, I'm able to go back at this. So it really helps with regards to the playback. We'll see that in a moment. Just to give you guys a tour on the project page before we get into playing the audio. Standard controls are over here with regards to going to the end of the track or going back to the beginning. You have your scroll. I'm using a Mac touch bar, so I'm able to scroll with this, but at the same time you can click on this to be able to scroll back and forth. Should you be using your mouse, you could be able to fast forward and rewind in increments. Adding tracks is over here. Sharing the project with somebody is over here. Pretty simple to be able to share the project with somebody. All you have to do is go ahead and enter their email, and then you could write a little note to them, and then be able to share it. And if you do share it and they actually receive the project on their end at the same time, then what will happen is that they will pop in as if it's a Google Docs, and you will see their icon with the notion saying that they're collaborating, and then you and the individual will be able to have a conversation, kind of a real-time conversation together, seeing each other's comments. So that's it for the top bar. There is the account settings or the settings menu where you could change your profile name, anything that we do with regards to accounts, whether it be subscriptions. This is our account. It's on a monthly subscription, but Sumo Lings will have a stack code option over here. So if they purchase one code and they want to stack their codes, or they want to see the the limits that they've used, etc., they could go in here to stack code to be able to add more codes, or to be able to see their usage. Great. So that's pretty much it for the top transport bar, we like to call it. And then the track. So the track's got a bunch of different things to it. So we already explored, the zoom. These are all, titles of different things. Here you have tags. So tags are basically used to green light, yellow or red lights a track. And this is mainly used for multiple tracks. So if, Rob would send me this version, I'm going to definitely have some comments on this version. And he could, upload another version of it. I could basically say, well, this one's, a little yellow. It's not there yet. It's not a red because we love it, but it's not getting the green light yet. So we could basically tag them in different colors. You can also change the colors of the tracks over here. There is a little color panel to be able to change this color. If you have certain tracks that are certain versions, and other tracks are different versions, you could play around with the colors over here. Here is the expand. So we have a lot of expanding going on in the application, whether it's expanding of tracks, and this is kind of like a master collapse. So if you've got a bunch of tracks, they're all opened, and you really want to, kind of clean it up and just see the tracks at a certain moment, then you could expand and collapse the tracks. And this kind of works in a hierarchy. So you have your collapse and expand for the drawings, your collapse and expand for the comments, and then you have your collapse and expand for the entire track. And this will collapse all the tracks all together. If you have any questions with regards to any of the the things that you see, if you hover over them for a couple of seconds, you're going to be able to see what they do with their little tool tips. Great. So here's some controls over here. Solo, you have solo. So solo could basically, again, used in the context of having multiple tracks. So once you have multiple tracks, what happens is that they could all play back at the same time, which, again, gets a little bit jumbled in the listening experience. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to solo the track to be able to to say, okay, I'm only playing this exclusively, and then I'm going into another track and saying, I'm only going to play that exclusively, etc. You could download a version of the track if you'd like. So you could download the track, you could delete it if you'd like. One thing I passed over was the sequencing. So if you've got 5 tracks, you could basically change the order of them. So if this is the first track that you'd like to see, well, you could renumber this in track 1. Or if it's the last track, you could renumber it track 3 if you have got 3 tracks. And basically these things over here allow you to sort. So you could sort by the track color. And the same thing goes for the title. So if you've got, A track A or A underscore track, B underscore track, C underscore track, you could click on title and then be able to sort things in their order. You could change the sequence of the track or the number of the sequence by clicking over here. You could also change the title of the track by clicking over here. Okay, a lot of everything we do requires an enter. So once you're done, just press enter. This thing too is kind of open. You didn't finish sequencing, so just press enter over here. Great, so that's pretty much it for the project page. Let's get into some playback. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna hit spacebar to play the track, and then what I'm gonna do is, as if I'm listening to it and I'm providing feedback, I will do so, just so you could get an idea of close to real use cases we possibly can. All right, so hitting the spacebar.
Be the best audio creator you can be with Notetracks Pro. One collaborative space to easily review, share, and be the best audio creator you can be with Notetracks.
So I'm concerned a bit about the space here. There's a little bit of an intro. So my first thought is that if we get this into an audio ad platform, that space might be a little too much. So I'm putting a note for myself at the end, to start, but I might edit this when I share the project over at Rub. So should we have the ad start a bit sooner?
Pro.
I just hit spacebar again to just continue the listening so I can just keep going.
One collaborative space to easily review, share, and exchange feedback to take your tracks to the next level. Take notes directly on your tracks. Still referencing time in a notepad with an audio player? You know, like more bass at 32 seconds? Pinpoint your notes, comments, and conversation audio player? You know, like more bass at 32 seconds? Pinpoint your notes, comments, and conversations on the track itself. You're not dreaming, it's a reality. Notetracks Pro.
Okay, so this is cool. I mean, this part over here, it would actually, if there was kind of like, and that's another thing that that I like to hone in on is the visual aspects of stuff. So we could, quickly see that this is a 30-second ad. But right now, right at this point, I really felt that this could be a great 5-second spot. Let me go ahead and play it again.
Pinpoint your notes. Pinpoint your notes, comments, and conversation. Pinpoint your notes, comments, and conversations on the track itself. You're not dreaming, it's a reality. Notetracks Pro.
So that part itself could actually be its own ad right there. Just to really just get into a short, quick ad. Some of these ad platforms have different lengths. So maybe a 5-second spot, a 10-second spot, 30-second spot, etc. So that love to highlight that. I do like that part. I love how the music changes. And I could, go on write some more notes and paragraphs on this for sure, but for the sake of time, I won't. But yeah, it's I basically dropped a marker, a cue right at that point. Put my notes over there. Was able to go back and forth with the shortcut. One awesome thing that I forgot to mention was that you could actually move these around. So
like more bass.
If you really want to get specific.
More bass at 32 seconds. Pinpoint your notes, comments, and conversations on.
Yeah, so you can move it around to get exactly where you'd like to have it. So that's pretty much it for this audio piece. Again, this was a very simple 30-second use case, but you could imagine how it expands with reviewing podcasts, music, videos, etc. One other thing that I didn't that I skipped over was this little small button over here. So once you actually populated your projects, basically you have access to download those comments into a text file, or even print them as a PDF. So if you go into your browser window and you press print, you will be able to have a printable PDF version of the comments. I think that this could give me a preview. The preview is not that great, but if you save it as a PDF or print it, then you will basically have a printout of the comments. This will produce a small little text file that will allow you to see the comments all together. So that's pretty much it for the entry of the audio and the comments. The next section is basically drawings and stamps. So sometimes we want to get a bit more visual with what we're doing, and we can map some stuff out. So again, this is if I just want to see, have an idea of what he was doing, I know that, the voiceover basically starts right away. I could also use pre-populated stamps, like this was the intro. You could customize these stamps as well too. So this was, the intro of the intro sound effects. You could change their color. So again, if you want to get a bit more visual in terms of color coding things, or just being able to differentiate certain things in the review and the analysis, you could do this. This helps a lot when, especially when we're looking at podcasts. We could kind of map out. All right, well, this is the this is the interview intro, and then this is the the actual intro while we're doing the podcast, or this is the advertising. This is where the advertising goes or should go, type of thing. It helps to just, instead of just reading a lot of different comments, just go through and just quickly be able to visualize. All right, this is the intro, this is our our general intro. This is the intro preview of the actual interview that we did, etc. We also use this in video as well too. So once we are selecting a music piece for a video that we're shooting, we basically bring the music piece in and then kind of envision what we would see. So this is where this is where somebody would be walking towards the coffee shop. This is where we would cut to the big studio. This is where we would go to the interview. And you could basically have your notes in a different format, basically in labels. Yeah, basically we try to give the flexibility to folks to be able to add notes in whatever style that they like, just to be able to get the point across. So we also have some freehand drawings if you want to get creative. If like you want to draw in, like I want you to fade this in. You even want to draw the fade in type of thing, you can. If you want to click done, you click done. If you want to draw a taco, you could draw tacos if you've got some great drawing skills. But we give you the flexibility to be able to take notes in whatever shape form you can. So that's pretty much a demo of an audio project. I'll switch it back to you, Lindsay, just to see if there's any questions so far. I've been doing a lot of talking. I do see that there's a little icon with a bunch of questions, so we could go into it. And then what I'll do is I'll also, in the meantime, load up a video project so you guys can see what a video project looks like as well too.
Cool. So the first question that we got right at the top of this was, what are the future plans for video features, not just music? I know that you touched on roadmaps and things, but if you want to just tell us, what are you most excited about for Sumo Links to look forward to?
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, we're basically an audio-centric platform. So, our home is in audio. There's already a ton of things that the Sumo Links have asked. I think the major one that's come out so far, I'll just switch my screen for a second. The major, feature that's pretty much stands out so far is a bit of editing. So, Sumo Links have pointed us towards, some micro editing, not major editing, because there's a lot of tools out there that do audio editing, etc. But some micro edits in addition to what we have with regards to collaboration that could really speed up the workflow for a lot of folks. So editing is definitely something that we've got on the roadmap with regards to micro edits like trimming, splitting, adding tracks within tracks type of thing. So, okay, you've got an intro, let's put the intro in and then be able to, put an outro in, and then we've got this, entire track of what's going on. So I think that those editing features with regards to audio are interesting. And of course, once we've got that done, or at the same time in parallel, if we do see some of those things that could be quickly applied to the video aspect of stuff, why not? So, quick trim on the video, splitting on the video, micro edits to basically, again, facilitate, our ethos is basically the communication, collaboration, the documentation of these media types. So we would definitely, again, want to add additional features around that, as well as keeping the core, functionality going. Thanks for the awesome comments though, Scott. I really appreciate it.
What is the playback resolution of audio?
Playback resolution of audio, great question. So basically, once you upload, I mean, you could upload anything from waves to high res, MP3s. What we do is once you upload the audio, it basically plays back what you basically have uploaded. But what we do is we compress to 320 kbps in an MP3 format. So it's a pretty high res MP3, and we are always open to upgrading that. Again, we try to focus on allowing folks to be able to especially clients to be able to grab the projects, review them quickly. So the more high res, we offer, the more, again, it will have an impact with regards to the speed. So we've picked a format that kind of, balances great quality and at the same time, balances great speed. But we're always open. So there's folks that would, want lossless, again, more higher versions, but again, perhaps with different options with regards to the sharing. So, a project could be a high res project or be a low res project. We'd have to, do that carefully just to not, implement some lossless features that are basically for the entire project and slows a bunch of stuff down.
Awesome, thank you. Can you disable downloads for clients? We might not want this until they have completed payment for the work completed.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That was one of I think it was also in the questions section. So basically we have different permission settings. Right now we have view and edit. The view will allow you to view comments and not make any major changes. The edit will allow you to make major changes. But we are in the midst of adding a few other permissions. One of them being disabling the download, so that's easily covered. So you share the project with somebody, you don't have that download button, and that's great. That solves for that. But a level up, again, brought to us by AppSumo was basically to add this payment gateway, to say, hey, maybe through our system, can you process the payment and at the same time unlock the download. But for the time being, I mean, I think that the quickest solution would be to give that permission access, and then the individual will be able to share it with the client, with the download capability, and the client would the individual will be able to manage the payment. So as soon as I get payment, all right, I'll change the permission to can download instead of cannot download.
Awesome. Those are all the questions that we have in the Q&A box right now. I know you wanted to show us some more stuff. So I'm going to pass this over to you again, but Sumo, if you have any more questions, your opportunity is still here. You can go ahead and leave those in the Q&A box down below the video, and then we're going to get back to those in just a second.
Perfect.
Show us some things.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Cool. So this is what it looks like when you add video into the project. So basically, what I did is I drag and dropped an MP4 into here, and again, I'm going to press spacebar to start playing.
For us, it's mainly to write music that's going to be timeless. We're going to be listening to this music 10, 15, 20 years from now, and it wasn't the flavor of the month, of the week, of the season. It just sounds good 10, 20 years after.
So basically, what happens when you drag and drop or import a video project is that you have the video that appears here. You have a little collapse button over here where you can, close the video. So if you just want to work on the audio, you could basically, collapse this, not see it. This is a video project though. And what happens is that this video came with the vocals just attached to it. So it basically had a track that just had the vocals, and we could solo, as I was mentioning, you could solo tracks, and we could listen to just the track, the audio track that the video came with.
For us, it's mainly to write music that's going to be timeless. We're going to be listening to this music 10, 15, 20 years from now, and it wasn't the flavor of the month, of the week.
So we've got the audio right there. And now the thing is again, we went through a process using Notetracks with regards to selecting the music. So selecting, we had a project with reference track of like, okay, we want to have a music of this sort. Can we reach out to our producers and see if, any folks could, produce a track or have a track of this sort. Shout out to one of our producers, Noah Barrer, that came up with, the theme of our marketing, the theme track of our marketing video. He had an awesome instrumental that we populated in our project and said, hey, what do we think about this? We agreed on the track, and then it was to basically see if this vibed with the video. So basically, right now you have a project with the vocals, but at the same time you have the instrumental of the track. So if you just want to hear the instrumental of the track, that's the instrumental track. If you want to see what it looks like with the video, that's. So we were already, we were able to, in quotations, catch the vibe of what this track would be like for the video that we shot. Our video editor basically, edited the video, had an interview attached to it, and then said, hey, Cam, what do you and the team like in terms of music for this? Should we go onto a stock site and pick some stuff, or do you have any pre-producers that we reach out to? So we were able to, reach out to the team of producers that we have and say, hey, what do you guys have? And we were able to get this instrumental track, which was awesome. And then at the same time audition it, and then be able to kind of see how it all fits together. So right now we were listening to the instrumental with the track, and if we unsolo this, then both the instrumental and the voiceover track, the interview track, will play at the same time, and you can see it all together as a combination.
For us, it's mainly to write music that's gonna be timeless. We're gonna be listening to this music 10, 15, 20 years from now, and it wasn't the flavor of the month, of the week, of the season. It just sounds good 10, 20 years after. If you're writing music only for yourself, then do whatever you want, But if you are engaging in a market where you want to do it professionally, make a career out of it, it's good to listen to other people and what they have to say. Often you learn a lot of things from different people, so feedback in general is important, yes.
So yeah, that's pretty much how we used this with the video project. But yeah, multiple use cases. Again, if you're analyzing a video, if you're reviewing a video that you're producing, you've got a ton of things that you could do, and a ton of different ways that you could, be able to do them. So. That was a demo of the video project. There was a couple of questions that I probably want to clarify, that have been posted so far. So again, just to clarify, the accounts basically are limited by storage, and they're limited by projects. And one project, is basically I would say a document that can contain multiple different tracks to it. So let's say you're working on a podcast, and you've got 10 episodes that you want to produce. Well, you could create one project and be able to populate 10 tracks within it. So your entire podcast season can be in one project. What you would have to kind of keep in mind is that if you share that project with collaborators, then that the entire season will be shared with collaborators. So you could basically have you could have multiple projects for multiple tracks, or you could have one project containing multiple tracks, depending on how you want to manage it. But the other thing to also consider with regards to limits is that if you do have, let's say, a 50 project limit, and you've basically created, let's say, 45 or 49, you're on your 49th project, and you're pretty much at the limit. What you can do, and I think this is not super clear because it's been asked a few times, is that you can be able to delete certain projects to be able to have your limits back. So, if you deleted all 50 of them, or let's say 10 of them, you'd be able to get the quota back, etc. So we basically, have some tiers with some limits, but we really want to give you all the options to be able to, upload, be able to use it how you'd like to use it. keep your projects in storage, should you like to go back to them, etc., as much as we can. So yeah, that's pretty much a great tour of most cases. Again, curious to know more about the use cases that are coming through this community and the types of individuals that we have. But I mean, just to give you a bit of insight on the Notetracks community prior to this. We do have the iOS app, which is kind of like the preliminary version 1 with tons of customers over there that are shifting over to this new platform. But those folks are span from music creatives, researchers, educators, students, etc. So there are plenty use cases for audio. Every week we find a new use case, which is pretty exciting. We're like, what are you using Notetracks for? Are you, working on a podcast or working on a music piece or a marketing piece? And somebody responds no, and then we figure out what they're doing, and it's incredible. So again, happy to connect with any of the community. Intercom is the chat support. Zendesk support.notetracks.com is our Zendesk, and the deal page as well. We basically frequent and check up on daily, in addition to the product roadmap throughout the process of the campaign. We'll be there to help you out and get your projects moving forward. So with 15 minutes left, do we have any other questions, Lindsay?
We do have some questions. All right, Sumolings, thank you for sending these in. If you have any more, you can go ahead and drop those in the Q&A box. We're going to run through them right now. What are the maximum MP4 file sizes and length?
Length. Okay, so I mean, currently there is an upload of 200 megs. So it's basically, you could upload an MP4 for 200 megs. And in MP3 format, we don't have a limit at the moment. I mean, generally podcasts that are being uploaded are in the hour length. So 45 minutes to an hour. And again, if you condense that into some kind of MP3, if it's usually an MP3 for an hour, it's about 40 to 50 megs, per MP3. So that's pretty much the file size, the standard file sizes. We're not expecting some heavy types of multi-gig files, but we're open to looking at that should there be users requiring those types of needs or using it. So we're actively receptive and responsive. We would want to know what types of files are you using. If you're using anything out of the normal or the standard realm that we kind of envisioned, please let us know, and we would be open to kind of expanding on that.
Thank you very much. My main audio/video use case is transcription. For longer videos, like 20 minutes, how deep can comments go? Can we collapse sections of comments to isolate track sections and then output all the comments in a PDF? Thanks.
100%. So I mean, yeah, the comments, it's designed to go as lengthy as you need it to. So I'd love to see a transcription use case. So reach out through Intercom and let us know what type of project you're working on, and my best suggestion is test it out. Take one file and go to lengths with regards to commenting. That's what it's designed for. So you could go to lengths. The other question was there's no limits on the comments. It doesn't stop after a certain amount of characters, a certain amount of words. You could really expand. One thing that I didn't show was basically was being able to. So I mean, one of the when you write a comment, basically you could the general case is that you're writing like one line. This is one line that I'm writing. However, if I would like to put more lines, I can. Shift return. So there's these little things, small little hints could allow you to do multiple lines. So quickly you could be able to see that you could have this, gigantic paragraph under, if I were to copy some text, you'd be able to have like this gigantic paragraph, underneath. And like I mentioned, I mean, everything is collapsible. So, if it does get to, if you do have too many replies, you could collapse them over here. If you do want to, close in the comments, you close them here. You could see the number of comments that you have over here. And of course, you could click a little download to get this little text file to be able to view, all the comments. And again, should you have the need to go back to an email, where hopefully you shouldn't, but should you have the need to basically go back to a Google Doc, which you do sometimes, you want to review with the team, you want to use this to be able to precisely pinpoint things, to gather your thoughts really quickly without having to interrupt, without having to manage, an audio player, or, a play pause on an audio player, and then going back to your notes application, writing stuff down, or having that email open and having the separate audio player. You want to be able to, drag and drop the file as we did, be able to pinpoint the notes, gather your thoughts, gather your feedback, do your work, whether it's a transcription work. For transcription, heads up, we've got a new feature coming in by next week with regards to slowing down and speeding up stuff. So, some slowing down of the audio, some speeding up. I'm sure it must help with regards to transcription to be able to, process things a little bit slower. But yeah, we pretty much give the flexibility to write those notes, and then be able to export them, in a comment should you need to be able to transfer them to other platforms to be able to again collaborate with a team. So put them in a Google Doc, and then come back to this, or an email, what have you.
Amazing, thank you. We've gotten a few more questions since we started this. Thank you, Sumo Links.
Cool. Well, welcome, new Sumolings. The participant numbers are going up, so again, it's pretty exciting. And I'm not switching back to I'm pretty much sharing my screen, so I'm not switching back into the view. So that's cool.
Cool. So can I add multiple music tracks and ask the client to choose which sound they like best for their video, or vice versa? Client can add song suggestions.
Oh, say it again. Could you slow down the question just a bit?
Sure. So can I add multiple music tracks and ask the client to choose which sound they like best for their video, or vice versa? Client can add song suggestions.
100%. So that's pretty much why we integrated the video feature in there. Initially we started as an purely audio-centric platform, and when we brought this to the studios were like, hey Cam, we work on audio, we work on video spots all the time, and our biggest pain point is that we always have to have a bunch of different tracks for this particular video. So can you embed a video in there? And that's how we started with the whole video. It ended up to be a video collaboration type of tool through this process, but initially that's the reason why it started. So reach out to us. We'd love to dig into more of your use case, but that's pretty much why we put the video in there. So again, to drag you through to run you through the use case, you basically import the MP4 file into the project. That's already going to have its own audio or own music to the video. And then what you could do is drag in like 2, 3, 4, 5 other music tracks and basically audition what those music files will sound like with that video. So you could just basically solo, one track and be like, oh wow, this song sounds way better with this video. And then again, green light tag it, or write in the comments that this is the one. Maybe change the sequence, bring it all the way to the top, and say this one's it. Even delete the other tracks and be like, okay, well, we really have to work on this track because this one feels the best with the video. So yeah, that's an excellent use case. It's probably one of the best ways to use video if it's not just for analyzing and reviewing and commenting on a video piece.
Amazing. We've been getting some great comments.
Love the community. Love them.
Yeah, our friend Scott, he has some questions, so I'm gonna ask those to you. But he's also said that this is gonna be great for songwriting. He'll be using this for the full spectrum of audio and video. He seems very happy. He says, fantastic. I really like Scott. Scott wants to know, are there upload limits per month, and are there limits on the notes field?
No limits on the notes field. Yeah, again, we don't want to bar any limits on what you're writing in there. And then uploads per month, you do have a storage capacity, so that's pretty much your capacity that you have. So far, that's pretty much what we're basically gauging usage on. So all good over there.
Awesome. In terms of permissions, if we add tracks into a project, can we lock certain tracks in terms of playback? And then if we give certain collaborators permissions, then they can click an option to unlock sounds or tracks.
Oh, that's interesting. That's good. That's a good one. It's kind of going into, view mode versus edit mode, but it sounds like it's going into view mode, edit mode, and then like per track type of thing. So I'd like a client to be able to view a track, I'd like a client to be able to only be able to edit certain tracks or not certain tracks type of thing. So that's a neat. We can't do that yet. I'd love to. Again, these types of things are not too hard to quickly get into because we already have permission settings, so it's not hard for us to be able to block off certain components and integrate them. That's pretty exciting. So I think we definitely got to do like the first individual suggestion with the can download, cannot download. That's definitely coming up. But at the same time, while we're doing that, hey, why not be able to basically, unlock and lock certain tracks? So, hey, you can download this track if you'd like, but you cannot download these tracks type of thing. Vanessa on our team, if you're watching, please, populate that into our product board. I'm sure you are watching. Hope you are. But yeah, we need to populate that into the product board. It's a type of feature where whoever suggested it, I'd love for you to come into the Trello board. I think what's important about this product board is not only the suggestions, but it's also the connection that we have with the individual. Just to give you some insights on how this works is that we get this feedback, we mock it up, or we're already working on it. But as it's being implemented, we would love to kind of ask you, is this what you intended? Is this what you'd like to have? Because that allows us to validate, okay, this is, it might be not the case. Be like, no, Cam, we wanted it like this, not like that. Okay, well then we could refine it. So it's important for us to, keep close connections, be able to come back to the, whoever suggested those features and be like, okay, well, can we understand a bit more about your usage? The closer we are, to understanding the use case, the closer we are to getting it to what the individual needs. So super important to kind of, ping us on the intercom or ping us on the roadmap board to be able to add that in there, be able for us, if you're open to it, to, reach out to you to be able to validate certain features. And at the same time, we've got this little vote. So if you go onto any of the cards and you press V, it votes it up. So, we could see which ones are needed the most. But yeah, we're very excited to learn about this, implement features like that. That's an awesome feature. It's not there. Definitely will be added to the feature request list by the end of the day. So keep them coming.
Awesome. We have just 3 more questions in here.
Sure.
First one, can comments be associated with a marked start and end mark track section? So far, it looks like start only.
100%. So that's another feature that's in the feature request list that we're working on, and we'd like to call it range selection. So it's basically, it's a simple explanation, just selecting a range. So instead of saying, the comment is at 0, well, in the use case that we had, earlier with that spot, that 5 second, I would have highlighted that 5 second and then like, this could be a 5 second spot. Let's just highlight it, and then you would have, the comment, have the start time and the end time. So again, another small example of a quick feature that we learned from the community that we could bring to the platform. Definitely in the roadmap.
Amazing. Our friend Scott, he says he works at an online music production and engineering school, and will show this to the students.
Yeah, I mean, we say that initially the target market was, music creators, collaborators, and audio music creators and collaborators. So those could be, folks working on podcasts or music, et cetera, and their collaborators or clients, et cetera. But the number one, the number 2, and the one that's more home, again, through the story, this wasn't inspired in a music classroom. So we've got, music technology classrooms, production, performance classrooms using this. And that's kind of like, again, the inspiration of the platform. So reach out, Scott. Let me know, where you're at. I would love to, again, learn more and then help out. So definitely, that's pretty much the realm that I played in. And, again, some of the folks on the team that are musicians, music producers, play in. So, we're very attached, but it's been wonderful to get the perspective out of the Sumo Link community, because they consist of voiceover folks. They consist of, marketers, or business owners, basically producing marketing content. And it's just been a super great experience to learn about different use cases, and then, having both worlds in this community, which is amazing. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, for MP4 collaboration, the file sizes may be larger. So in terms of future plans, will there be some focus for video use? Video files may be larger than 200 megabytes, I'm guessing that means. So can this
yeah.
capacity be increased?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, definitely would like to see, again, with video, it's a bit of a lengthy process. So it's, if you're uploading gigs, it might take a long time. So I would definitely love to see those users get in the platform, start uploading some stuff, and coming back to me and saying, hey, Cam, I'm trying to upload this file, and it's this is the type of, use case that I'm under. So we want to understand it a bit more, before we expand on it, because right now, again, we want to be able to give the user a fast, simple experience for, again, the creator and the collaborator side. So, if there's anything specific, that kind of that could slow that down, we want to pay attention to it and ensure that we're putting it in place for the right reasons. So definitely, I would say we're definitely open to it. It's not a hard, switch for maybe even just one account, if we look into the case, but we would have to kind of, assess it carefully, so it should not slow down, all the other users that we have on the platform.
Definitely. This is great. And I love your flexibility and your openness to all of this. I know Sumo Links, we have very diverse jobs and careers and passions and just so many use cases. And I love how this can work for so many. All right, next question is from Margie. How would this work with text to audio? For instance, pauses between words and variations of volume when we get the MP3. I am wanting to use machine text to voice.
You're gonna have to repeat that one again. I'm processing that one.
Sure, I feel that way sometimes with questions, I get it. How would this work with text to audio? For instance,
audio, okay. Yeah.
Pauses between words and variations of volume when we get the MP3. I am wanting to use the machine text to voice.
Yeah, no, I'm not understanding the question, and it kind of got cut off, which didn't help.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That one's my fault. All right, so Margie, if you want to give us a little bit more information, you can do that. The next question that we have from Sarah, if I upload an MP3 for my client to listen to, does the app double convert it to MP3 again, or does it recognize that it's already an MP3?
If you upload an MP3, it doesn't. Well, I mean, great question. So it will convert it. So it will convert it in our own MP3 file, which is the 320 standard. So again, if you upload something that's kind of low quality, it will up convert it to something of higher resolution. So we have a standard with regards to what we compress at. So your client will be able to have that. Now, we do keep all of the source files. So, if it is an interesting, and what we do have in the roadmap, which will quickly come, is the ability to be able to download our compressed file or download the source file. And this is, again, just to kind of facilitate the client. Like in the case that, you were to upload a WAV file, for the source, let's say, for the client, and then the client, wanted to be able to play back that WAV. Well, we compressed it to MP3, so we're able to play that back that track quickly for the client. Now, if the client needs the actual WAV file and wants to listen to it, then they should have an option, which they will have an option, to be able to download the source file, so then they could be able to, have that track to be able to listen to as well. So I hope that answered the questions. We do compress. We do compress at a standard, but at the same time, we'll be able to provide you or the client with the option to be able to download that source file. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Those are all of the questions that we have here. I'm gonna just like kind of stagger my like exit.
Who was the individual that asked about the text to audio?
Margie did.
I didn't see it. I didn't see any additional. So yeah, Margie. I mean, oh here, I have a hand. I have a hand there, and it says chat. So I'm just gonna click on that. Yeah, let me know if you got any additional info on that one, because I'd love to answer all questions and not leave anybody hanging. But Margie, feel free to text us on the website, the intercom chat. You know, it goes to all of our phones, so we'll be able to chat with you. It sounds interesting. It sounded like you were trying to do, you know, write text that gets translated into audio. So that sounds like it would be an interesting feature. Would love to, you know, expand on how it could be used and what you're doing with it.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up, close us out. Sumolings, if you have not already, hello again. If you have not already, you should redeem your code for Notetracks Pro. It is available on AppSumo right now, starting at just $39 for a lifetime deal. And of course, it is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee, so you can get set up and you know, start playing with your audio tracks and maybe with your videos and doing all of that and see how it works for you. We would love to hear how it's working for you in the comments. And of course, if you have any more questions, there's the deal page, but Cam has been very generous with how much support they offer. So I'm sure you can also get in touch with him. And so, okay, she did explain a little bit, Margie, and somebody else likes text to audio features. So this seems like something that can be an ongoing conversation and should definitely probably make it onto that, what was it, a Trello roadmap type of deal. She says, I have a program which I can give text and to voice. She stutters and would like to make the audio less robot-like, which I understand. Amazing. Cam, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being so generous to all of our Sumolings and for this awesome product.
My pleasure. Thank you again. Thank you and the entire AppSumo team for putting it together. You know, shout out to Noah, shout out to Jared, shout out to yourself and everybody. It's been great, you know, again, partnering up with a great family of folks. These guys are doing an incredible job. And again, giving us the opportunity to get this to the community. Shout out to the community. Again, you know, some super, you know, technical, business-oriented, growth-oriented, creative individuals. So, you know, I can't even believe it's been a week. It's been a week. But it's been, I always say it's been super intense. You know, we're all typing with fingers, but it's been, you know, super incredible. So, you know, an incredible time, especially at this time. Yeah, one last thing that we didn't mention is that, you know, we were, you know, working on this product and due to the whole shift to remote work, you know, had to accelerate to get it out there. So it comes at an interesting time to get this product out there, and then with the best opportunity with an amazing community. So you know, amazing. And a shout out to the Notetracks team as well, our devs, you know, our designers, our marketer folks. You know, it's an incredible team has basically put this all together. So yeah, that's about it. And looking forward to continue the conversations and you know, making some amazing audio and video content.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Cam. You are awesome. Thank you, Sumolings. And yeah, outstanding call. It's very important. Everybody has been so supportive in the chat. So thank you all and have a good one.
Have a good one. Stay safe. Be well.